Welcome to Beyond Boundaries with Lisa Richmond. I'm Lisa Richmond, and this is Tarot Tuesday. So clearly, I'm in a different spot. This is not usually where I record. My husband and I share a office, and it has come to my attention as of late that he might need the office more than I am allowing for it when I use the office. So we're trying to figure that out. So I've actually been like grooving in this space a little bit. I have my bowls here. I like to, some of my Spirit Saturday bowls have been recorded up here because I really like the vibe. The only thing is the sound isn't as good, and I have like 5 pets, 4 children, and they always come in and out of here. So if there's a cat or a dog or a random child talking to me, I'll try to edit it the best I can, but this is kind of just a glimpse into the world and the life of Lisa Richmond. But I want to bring forward messages for you still. I feel like there's so much connection that I have to all of you through this. And last week I had done my farewell, and then I looked at this week and I'm like, but it's solstice and it's full moon, and I just felt like I wasn't finished. So psych, I'm back. And I really like pulling cards, and I feel like this is a really great way to connect with everybody in this really spiritually charged week. So summer solstice this week, look for that Thursday. Thoughtful Thursday is coming on summer solstice, so that's really cool. I have to share with you a little thing before I pull cards. I did have a big, massive concussion on Wednesday of last week, and it actually happened after I did my recordings on YouTube and TikTok actually, and I was talking about timeline convergence and timeline jumping and stuff, and so if you find that I'm a little bit short in my neural connections when bringing messages or speaking in general, that's why. It's been my 3rd major concussion in 3 months, and this one has flattened me, I tell ya. It was a pretty major one, so I'm having difficulties with everything. So in saying that, my connection to spirit is still as strong as ever, so I want to bring forward some messages for you guys today. So I'm going to use the Good Tarot, as that's one of my very favorite decks ever in the whole wide world. And I feel like the clarity that comes from this deck is amazing. So I'm going to pull 3 Good Tarot cards. And then I actually have a really cool deck. It's the Tree of Life Oracle by David Wells. And I love this. It's got like if you guys are familiar with the Tree of Life, I've just kind of like started learning more about it, but within it there's like all the kind of the major arcana of the tarot, which I absolutely love, obviously, and there's just different, I don't know, it's a really great deck. And then of course the last, I want to use the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck, because that's a great one to leave us out on any symbolisms that connect with the reading. Okay, let's get into it. All right, Spirit, please help us to align with our highest selves and bring forward any messages deemed for the greatest good of all involved, from and only from the highest Christ consciousness. And may we be surrounded by love, ease, and grace today. Spirit, if there's any messages that you'd like to bring forward for the collective today on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Okay, so the Queen of Air is coming through. She's kind of like the Queen of Swords. And then the 5 of Water is our next card, which is the 5 of Cups. Okay, Spirit. For the collective, is there any messages deemed for our greatest good? 3 of Fire. Okay, so that's the 3 of Wands. Okay, so now, if this is your first time tuning in, which I doubt it is, but if it is, know that I read cards according to my direction with spirit, and like direct channeling messages from spirit. I don't read traditionally in just like learning the cards. I have the cards tell their story to me, and then I intuit what spirit's messages through them. So the first card that we have is the Queen of Air, and she is like, whenever I pull this card, I just feel the power of her. And I just love that white owl that's on her shoulder. That's always significant for me. I had a dear, dear friend pass a couple of years ago, and she was connected to the owl. And so I can't help but feel like she's coming through with this message, in all honesty. But the Queen of Air she triumphs. The Queen of Air triumphs. She cuts through the illusion. She's kind of a no BS type of woman. She harnesses her power with confidence and authority, but also doesn't, it's not like she's ruthless. It's just she doesn't have fluff, right? And I like this card because it's kind of like, cut everything down to its simplest form. What is it that you can logically think about that bring into fruition for you? How can you harness and take control over your own life? How is it that you can look at everything in front of you and decide exactly what it is that you want to do with what you have? You know, it's like, let's not be frivolous. Let's not be over dramatic. Let's take a look at everything that's in front of us, and let's actually make a choice and a decision logically for our greatest good. And let's co-collaborate with spirit and make sure that we are working with spirit, but also being very logical. And I love the Queen of Air here because she gets things done. She's super, super wise. And it's kind of like when you want to get some answers and you're like, okay, spirit, what's going on here? And you don't necessarily want all the fluff, and you don't want all the emotional trajectory of it, and you don't want to sit in the emotions of it anymore either. You want to be directed in your path for your greatest good, and know the results are for your greatest good, and that you can rely on them. That's the Queen of Air. She's reliable, and she's going to give you exactly what you need in order to succeed. So this is a message saying, take a look at what you have in front of you. You know, proof is in the pudding. If you want to do something and you want to accomplish something, take a look at everything you have. You probably have more available than you think, right? And cut away the things that don't align. Oh, but I had this and it was like I was waiting for the best time to bring it out, and I don't really want to let it go. I'm going to keep it around just in case. It's like, no. I mean, you can do that, but that might be dead weight. That might be something that you're pulling along for you just because you don't want to see it. Fair enough if you don't want to see it go. But I mean, at the same time, the way that this is coming through is like she's saying, you know exactly what you need and what you don't need. So like if there's something that isn't actually serving your purpose forward and like what your trajectory forward is, I feel like this is pertaining to somebody's desire to move forward with something, whether it's work, whether it's a relationship. I really feel like it is like a life trajectory forward. And the Queen of Air comes in and says, look, you have all of this available to you. You have all of this working for your favor. You can trust your gut. You can trust your intuition. You know exactly what to do. And maybe some of the other stuff that's really hard to let go of is more emotionally charged. So it's like, I usually don't say compartmentalize, but that's how I'm kind of feeling it. It's like, okay, if you want something, then do what you need to do in order to move forward. And all the stories, buts, oh, if only, if this wasn't holding me back, or oh, except I made this commitment to this person on that day. Do you really need to do that? Is that something that you actually need to do? Or is it something that you're holding still in your space to compensate for your lack of full send, like, commitment to it? Or like, it's almost like we hold on to these things because we don't feel 100% confident in our ability to do it. So it's easier to lean into something that's holding us back because of outside circumstances. The Queen of Air is here to say, I call you on this. look at what you actually have in front of you, what you need to do in order to achieve, because it's right there for you. Like, use this gateway to like head forward in this, okay? They're telling me something about Mercury and Gemini right now, and how that's all about like direct communication. I don't know a lot about astrology, so when they tell me this, I know that this is for somebody, okay? And I know Mercury is all about communication. And so they're just saying, like, trust the planetary alignment right now with your ability to connect in to your path and like trajectory forward. And some of the stuff on the side, take a look at and say, do I really need to do this? Is this really important? Or am I holding on to this as a subconscious way of not fully giving it my all? Because if I fully give it my all and it doesn't work, then I feel like a failure. And then I'm just validating that part of myself that doesn't actually believe I can. And the Queen of Air is here to say, I call your BS. If you want to step forward, if it's meant for you, it'll show up. And if it's not, then it's not. Then say, okay, continue to lead me on the path of my greatest good so that I can trust the universe in my path and stop second, get out of here. Okay? So that's Queen of Air energy. Ooh, she's a little spicy. I can feel her. All right, now the Five of Water is like the Five of Cups, and I gotta say, this is like a completely different energy to the Queen of Air, and I'm like, how in the heck do these two compare? Because the Queen of Air and the Five of Water for me feel like the Queen of Air would look at the Five of Water and be like, get over it. But they're together. So I think maybe this could have to do with when you are on your trajectory and you're going your way forward. Okay, so this is like the flip side of the coin. It's like, remember to have compassion for some of the people who might not be in the same place as you. Have compassion for situations that you might maybe have a little less patience for than normal. And also give yourself time to feel all the feels that you need to, if you do need to cut something away, okay? So the Five of Cups is telling me that if there has to be emotional disconnect from something, feel the feels that you need to in order to allow that emotional part to run through you and then move through it. So I saw this amazing woman who's a healer for like neurological, like brain injuries. Of course, I'm looking into that. And she works in kind of like the quantum healing field. And she was talking about how actually allowing the pain, especially in your brain, to completely move through like the pain instead of trying to stop the pain, because stopping it holds the energy within your like cranium, and then it actually like intensifies the symptoms. And so leaning into the pain and actually allowing the entire pain cycle to move through, it actually allows your body to integrate and move. So like doing a lot of like the pain stoppers, the symptom stoppers, doesn't allow for the pain to move through properly, which actually helps the healing process to take place. So what this is the same thing imagined with emotions. So if we are suppressing our emotions, if we are suppressing some things that are really like fear generating, but we're suppressing them, then that is actually keeping the fear in our bodies. And if we're like containing fear in our bodies, we're creating our like pressure cooker. And that's gonna, so what, you know, it's so interesting. This is so funny. They're just saying to me right now, I was having a conversation. I was actually on the phone with somebody when I got my concussion, and right before I knocked myself out, I was talking about so much built up anger that I had inside of me, and it was like building to the surface. And I felt like it was not only anger that was being stored within my body in the last couple of years, but it was the anger that I had been holding on to like this whole lifetime, and possibly even lifetimes before that. And that was all coming to the surface as I cranked my head. And I just feel like this is all about, in this time and place right now, universally, it is an excellent time to start allowing our thoughts, our emotions, our parts of ourselves that we've kept like really contained, letting them out, letting them move through us, and really not suppressing anything. And sometimes it's hard to not suppress it because we're in like a work environment, or we're at like a nice family dinner, and we don't want to stand up and flip the table and be like, I'm done with this, right? Like there's obviously a level of balance between like full containment and then like letting it all go. But the whole point of this is that don't contain it so you have to flip the table, or you want to flip the table. When something comes up, love that. Like Matt Cohen says, whatever comes up, love that. Okay, so if you're feeling a rise of anger, you're feeling a rise of emotion, love that. Give that some, it's my doodle, my giant doodle. Hey, can you sit down, please? Of water is just an absolute beautiful representation of how we can have that built up stored emotion within us, and that is going to actually hold us back from our full expression of our authentic selves and that trajectory forward. So there is some emotional regulation that's going to have, and some parting with some old things, saying goodbye to some things, and feeling the feels, to let that run through you, and so that it's no longer like holding you captive anymore, your emotions captive. Okay, and then the last one we have is the Three of Fire. I love this because this is an action card. The fire is action, like it's like doing, but the Three of Fire is like waiting to do until the timing is right. Okay, so I like this because the Three of Fire is all about like you're on the right track, right? Like you're doing the right thing, you're heading down the right path, and you're just waiting for the perfect timing to just strike. So it's like Queen of Air is getting all your ducks in a row, like cutting away all the stuff that no longer serves. It's like, all right, take control. It's time. Five of Water is like making sure that you've gotten all your stuff taken care of emotionally, right? It's like, okay, I need to feel all the feels. I need to work through some things. I need to like bring things to the surface so that I'm no longer being directed by inauthentic emotions or old trapped energy. And then the Three of Fire is like your time is awaiting you then. It's like when it comes up, when you're ready, when you're standing there waiting to catch your wave, then you know that it's time for you to go. They're telling me, I don't usually read from the book, but there's something in the write-up of the Three of Fire that they want someone to hear. Expansion of opportunities, the fullness of creativity and achievement. So this is your affirmation. I am on the right path toward my success. I have an abundance of opportunities before me. I need to trust myself, for I can make good choices for myself and co-create situations and relationships that are in harmony with my heart's desire. Oh my God, that's amazing. So it's like the Queen of Air is like cutting all the stuff away, like getting your head in the game, confidence, like the straight and narrow. The Five of Water is releasing all the emotional buildup. And then the Three of Fire is like, the Five of Water. And then the Three of Fire is like, okay, now I've done all my due diligence, right? I'm ready to set forward on my path. I'm ready. So this is just like taking care of some of the stuff on the side that's still like tying up loose ends kind of thing before going forward. And that's here and here, and then you're going forward. Okay, so that's what the general reading is for you for the good tarot. Okay, and then the Tree of Life. I love this deck so much. I think I've mentioned that. Okay, Tree of Life. Is there any cards that can come forward today asking Spirit to help guide us in this? What do we need to see? So the Hermit card is the 20th path, the Hermit card. Spiritual guidance, commitment, and a way shower. Okay, so this is literally like a combination of the three that we just got. Okay, spiritual guidance, commitment, and a way shower with the Hermit. So the Hermit card generally is about like coming inside of ourselves and like taking a look at the situation and then waiting until the opportunity. So Three of Fire is also about waiting for great opportunity. This is a co-creative one. Sometimes less is more when we're waiting for our opportunity. So this is it, like coming in, not being too, I want to say not involving ourselves too much with the outside situations and really allowing ourselves to come into our own knowing and what we need to do intuitively in order to be guided in our greatest way. So spiritual guidance, commitment, and a way shower. I really feel like with the Hermit coming into oneself, they're showing me somebody connecting with their artwork, sometimes doing art, painting, canvassing, something like that is going to allow you to be spiritually guided. It kind of like moves through your fingers. So come inside, take a little hermit time for yourself and express yourself through art. Okay, this might not resonate for everybody, but it's definitely for somebody. And then this one is number 4, mercy. Abundance, gratitude, big ideas. I'm going to read that one. The main figure is a king, a wise, benevolent, and loving king seated in his throne. He dispenses wisdom and gifts to those who seek his counsel and can use it wisely. Guidance. Support, be it from family, friends, or the universe, is something we could all use now and again. I feel like support, spiritual guidance, that's in the Hermit too. Okay. This card suggests you've forgotten to ask for it. Ask now and look and listen for the signs that will guide you. As you put your faith in this higher aspect of yourself, magical creatures are waiting to carry your goals to fruition on their backs, wings, and tails. A new guide may be moving in, a teacher to help you through a particular phase or remind you of your talents and encourage you to go for it. This is a time to go big, not to take unnecessary risks, but to realize a goal you've been waiting for. Okay. It's a moment to bring an abundance practice into play, to develop a positive outlook that will be returned to you in magical ways. A spiritual master could appear to assist you. What a great compliment. Okay, this is a really powerful card. It's got, the masculine tendencies to it, but it's obviously for anybody and everybody. I like this because it has the energy of the no BS kind of thing too, where it's like, cut away all your fears, cut away all your like voices that are telling you that this is crazy or it's not working, or this is also, okay, take this as you will, okay? This is what's coming through. In this new guidance system, because there's a lot of messaging coming through about guidance. So they're saying when you're asking for guidance from your spirit team or from, a divine guidance team, or Archangel Michael's coming up a lot, and you're asking for signs and synchronicity, give me symbolisms, please let me see that you're here. If you're saying that, trust that they're trying to bring through messages for you. So like release your need to like find it, like almost, when people get this obsessive, what does this mean? Oh, I saw this, what does this mean? And then try they're not going to put you on a wild goose chase. They're going to lead you in a synchronistic way that means something to you. And the more that you get up here trying to figure it out, the harder it is. That's why I'm seeing the guidance team being like, stop, you've asked for help, so let us give you help. And so, so that's what they're doing. They're trying to give you, guidance, but they want you to stop being in your head so much about trying to put together the pieces like it's like some crazy, scavenger hunt. they will give you your signs and synchronicities in a way that makes sense. It might not make sense right away, but you might have to see it retrospectively. And it's not always in the way, most times it's not in the way that you might think. Yes, there might be like a feather or a dime that's affirming, yes, you're on the right path. But sometimes it's about like some rando person showing up and being like, hey, and saying something or giving you an opportunity that you didn't see coming, right? In a way that you wouldn't even know. So just trust it, okay? Trust the signs and synchronicities without getting obsessive on having to like be in control of what they mean, okay? So that's what this card is about, or that's what this message is. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna pull one last card from the Sacred Symbols, and then you are going to really take into consideration what this card means to you and how it applies to you. It might not make sense to me, but I feel like this is a system or a card that will make more sense to you. So she's doing that on purpose. She's trying to get attention, my dog is. She's totally doing that on purpose. It's so funny. Okay, truth and meditate. So I have these two cards that came out together. So the truth card always comes out for me when it's a validator, when it's saying like what has come through, the message that has come true is the truth. And so meditate card, so really what they're saying is that you can get a lot of your answers by slowing it down and not being too, like I said, like to having to know all the answers. It's like, allow your guidance team to come through and help you in this. Know that you are on the right path. You are being guided. Things are showing up for you. Like all the cards are saying, come into yourself, slow down. Sorry, I had to readjust the camera because my dog knocked it off. Okay, this was a massively distracting reading for sure, between my brain and my dog, but everything happens for a reason. So I feel like these messages are not only for everybody listening, but they're for me as well, about, you know, cutting through the illusions of things, keeping your self on track, trusting your guidance team, trusting the pathway forward, and knowing that what we have here is a beautiful unraveling of our true destiny, of our life, what we signed up for. This is what we came here to do. And we are on a big trajectory forward. We are on a mission forward, and the energy is getting stronger and the veil is getting thinner. And so you can trust in your path as it opens. Cut away the stuff that you're not taking with you. Feel all the feels that you need to feel as you work through this. The truth and the trust is in your spiritual connection. You can co-collaborate with spirit to get your answers, okay? So meditate, truth, that's all about connecting to spirit for your guidance team, okay? And then maybe take a look at what your meditation practice is. Maybe change it up. Maybe change up your meditation practice. Instead of maybe sitting every morning, maybe it involves meditation as you walk. Maybe it's getting your messages through. Again, they keep saying it's like lean into some creative action, because that can be a meditative thing too, with listening to music, sound healing, or even just putting on that playlist that you have that just, you know, moves your soul. I have to paint to cello music. When cello music comes through, that's my open channel to bring through artistic channeling. Like, so when I get a channel that comes through paint, it comes through the sound of the cello and then comes out. So I don't channel in writing or speaking to cello. Cello is my open channel to painting. And so every time I am called to paint, I put on the cello and it just comes through me. So everybody's got a different connection. So really lean into what that might be for you and explore and have some fun with it. So I hope this reading resonated. And yeah, I'll see you next week for another beautiful tarot reading. Okay, I love you all. Take care.